and these purchases through the time period as well. So, go ahead and state your name.
My name is Russ Levine.
Gonna turn it on, Russ. There you go. Yep.
One more.
Yeah. My name is Russ Levine. I live in Del Webb at Mustang and Warren. My concern are the warehouses, and especially the one that's going on, that they're thinking about putting very close to us. The proposal to construct warehouses in West Hemet, we think, is a terrible idea. Aside from turning our beautiful rural surroundings into an environmental nightmare, it will create truck traffic that will be downwind from us. We'll be breathing an increased amount of harmful nitrogen dioxide pollution. Warehouse operations also have severe environmental impacts. The emissions caused by storage and material handling processes also cause airborne pollutants. Also, the diesel truck traffic will make getting in and out of our Del Webb community more difficult. And then there's the issue of warehouses diminishing our property values. Who then would want to buy a home with that next door? Also, our 55 community has many people with health issues, and all these warehouses do is exacerbate poor health, especially in the elderly. There's another issue with this proposal, and that is the damage to our local roads by their heavy-weighted semi-trucks. The roads in Hemet are already some of the worst roads I have ever driven on, worse than any big city I have ever lived in, including Boston and Los Angeles. The city of Hemet cannot keep up with the needed road maintenance because it simply can't afford to. Most of that road damage is because of the trucks that travel our city. More truck traffic caused by continued travel by those warehouse trucks will cause so much more road damage that Hemet roads will look like a master class in third world road upkeep. All I can say is that the idea of these warehouses anywhere near our community is the worst and probably the most self-serving idea anyone who is supposed to have our best interests at heart ever had. Thank you.
Kathy O'Rourke.
Hello, good evening. My name is Kathy Rourke. A lot of the things that I was going to say have already been said, but I need to let you know that I don't want the warehouses either. I also live in the Del Webb community off of Warren Road, and it just seems like buying into a 55+ community should be peaceful and quiet. Building warehouses will bring trucks, pollution, more traffic, plus noise. Our house values will go down. There's already people listing their homes now as we speak. They're not close to the freeway, so I'm not quite sure what the benefit is other than using roads that are not, that shouldn't have large trucks on them. And what it'll do to the roads, again, like was already talked about. But anyway, I just think that we should not go ahead with the warehouses. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
David Yates.
I also live in that community, and I've spoken to a number of neighbors who are concerned. Is it still on?
Yep.
Okay. I've spoken to a number of neighbors who have expressed their concern. But I am representing really only myself and my spouse, because we're the only two here. But it just seems like an idea that's not really serving the people of our community. And I can go through the same arguments the previous two speakers had mentioned. So I just say ditto. It's not something I would like in my community. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Joanne Millie?
I'm Joanne Heel, and I totally agree with what the first person just said. Our traffic situation on Warner Road is awful, the roads are awful, and I agree that with more trucks coming in and just the atmosphere of it near this retirement community is a bad idea, so I'm totally against the warehouses.
Melanie Page Moyer?
My name is Melanie Page Moyer. I also own a home in Del Webb. Can you hear me?
Yep.
But I'm also representing, I'm a 5th generation, Hemet generation for the Moyers. Even though I was born and raised in Orange County, both my parents came back to Hemet and retired in Del Webb and Seven Hills. And I would visit them, and I just fell in love with the people and the community and the beautiful produce farms down on Simpson Road. Our quality of life will be drastically changed. Our air control, our pollution, the traffic is going to be horrendous. The exits, do we know what kind of warehouses are even going in? Do we know? I don't. The other thing is, the hours of operation, are they gonna be coming in and out 24 hours, all day long? The noise level is gonna be horrible. And time of operation. And then what I was thinking about Lamb's Canyon, when we fly out of Palm Springs and we have to go through Lamb's Canyon, that windy road, when there's a truck, it's backed up. Everyone's passing the truck. Can you imagine how many more trucks are gonna be going through Lamb's County? That's another thing. Hemet only has 3 exits, right? I don't know. The 3 exits, it's gonna be so hard to get in and out of Hemet. And I just believe very strongly that these warehouses, that we don't even know what kind of warehouses they're gonna be. Why did you guys let this happen? I get the job thing, but there's other ways. I know, like, why not have a pharmaceutical company warehouse? Like Stryker, Procter and Gamble, Boston Scientific, where they make hip replacements and knee replacements. No, serious, really. I don't want warehouses that are gonna be coming in and out with trucks. Thank you very much. I'm also a Page, and I represent them too, the Page Ranch, where Del Webb is.
Public record, Vice Chair Henry Papp arrived, present at 6:18 p.m.
Next request to speak from Joe Wood.
Yes, my name is Joe Wood. I'm also a Del Webb resident. Moved here about 4 years ago. I'd like to first ask the question, to what benefit are these warehouses to our community? Their jobs that are being anticipated are below or near minimum wage. Most of the employees, I understand, only get to work part-time. You got parking stalls for up to 1,000 employees anticipated for this project. And I just don't see who's benefiting by this warehouse over there on Simpson Road. I'd be interested to know how much the city is benefiting, because I know the residents aren't benefiting anything. My wife and I came down Lamb's Canyon today from the VA hospital, and it was backed up clear up the top of the hill. That's with no truck traffic at 5 o'clock in the afternoon. so I can anticipate that with 45% of the anticipated truck traffic going up Warren Road to either Ramona Expressway or Florida, it's gonna exacerbate that traffic problem getting out of this town. Strongly against the warehouse installation at Simpson. I'm not strongly against warehouses in general. I think there's a place for them. It's just not where they're currently being proposed. Thank you.
Roy Bell?
Good evening, Hemet City Council. How are you guys? I live at the Lakes at Hemet West. My name is Roy Fales. They're building a warehouse 5 feet from my bedroom. There's a thing from Sesame Street. What doesn't belong? A warehouse next to a retirement community with elderly and infirmed people. What doesn't belong? Warehouses. Now you go down to, is it Saddlebrook Point? Yeah. What it's called? The one directly across from where the Simpson one is going in. A very nice community, a lot of it 55 over, same situation. It's a little farther apart. It's across a street instead of backed up to my fence. What doesn't belong? Okay. Now I know you guys know how to make good decisions. You all on your future agenda is replacing what is now flattened, the old Long John Silver's, and assuming you're going to be putting a fast food restaurant there in between a fast food restaurant and a Motel 6. That belongs. See, this is real simple, okay? There's an empty warehouse on Warren Road, half a mile west of my place, and about half a mile north of where they're putting the Simpson one. Let them put it there. What belongs at a warehouse lot? A warehouse. Real simple. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Jean Fanza?
Thank you to the Planning Commission for having us tonight. How many people, show of hands, from Del Webb today? Okay, thank you. Good showing. I'd like to address a couple things. I have a few statistics to share, as well as there's been moratoriums at surrounding cities. Moreno Valley, Fontana, Menifee, and Beaumont all have tightened the screws on warehouses. There's a reason for that. We're in a diesel death zone. The residents have spoken at all of these cities. The reason they are now coming to Hemet, we're getting more applications. Why? Because the surrounding cities that are close to the freeways have tightened the screws. So now they're coming to Hemet. They just are not a fit. The traffic is atrocious. We've got 12 miles to the 215, 12 miles to the 10 at a minimum. Lambs Canyon, Ramona Expressway, they all get backed up. Warren Road is horrific. I live at the corner of Warren and Mustang. We have two potholes there right now that are at least 6 inches deep, and they're new. 2 days ago, they weren't there. They weren't there Friday when I came through. They're there today. It's from the big, heavy trucks. These streets are not made for that. Our infrastructure is not made for what you are proposing here. I've gone onto the website. I've looked at all the documents. Some of them are shocking to me, like the Paleo Assessment Report, and I'm thinking, okay, this is a high sensitive area, yet for fossils is what the Paleo report assesses, but yet the environmental impact report doesn't even mention that. It also says that in order to protect that, the recommendation is that they've got people out there that when they see it, they dig it up, they put it in a paper bag, and they take it to the appropriate people, the powers that be, to protect it. Do you really think construction guys are gonna be doing that? I mean, they're gonna have people that are scientists that are out there poking sticks and looking at all this stuff to make sure it's okay? I just don't see it happening. I've scoured the website. I cannot find an original application. Maybe somebody can point me to that area of when this started. We had the city manager in our community in March of this year, 24. He gave us a host of development. The only project he mentioned was the Kirby project. He didn't bother to mention the one that's affecting our community. that's dearest to our hearts. That's a half mile from my house. Why would he exclude that from a presentation? I really have to question what, the lack of transparency, and I know you guys are trying to do your best. You all love the city. I think you all are required to live here. I'm not sure about that. Is that true? You shake your head? No? Okay, thank you. Statistically speaking, vacancies we have the highest vacancy here in warehouses in our Inland Empire, since 2018. Speculative buildings are the ones that are generating the most vacancy. They try to sublease, they're not getting to sublease. I implore you, please stop with this project and stop with warehouses in our city. Have a town hall. Thank you for your time.
Anyone, Woodard?
Hello. Alan Woodhouse, I'm a resident of Delwell as well. I haven't heard very much about this project until my neighbours have brought it to me. If there's advantages to doing this, I'd be interested to hear it. But I moved to Hemet 15 years ago, maybe a little bit longer. I was working here before that. And we moved here because we enjoyed the town. It was, a lot of people say, what are you doing moving to Hemet? It doesn't have exactly a good reputation. But it's really nice in many ways. It's a small town, it's not a big city. I feel I go to Temecula and Murrieta now and feel I've come back from the big city, and thank goodness I'm away. I've seen the plans, I follow them quite rigorously. All the plans for the roads that are maybe built one day, the 30-year plan. And I really thought this was going to be a good place. There's lots of opportunities that haven't happened here. There is Barrett's Crossing. Looked like we're going to be another, once upon a time, another Rancho Cucamonga. I love going out there to the shopping centre that they built. I drive there just to enjoy it. There's not going to be anything here if you just fill up all the good spaces with warehouses that are doing nothing for the city, that are crippling the infrastructure, and absolutely the roads are terrible. We've had roads that are built to protect the fairy shrimp. It seems a bit ludicrous, but now you're going to do things like this when people are living in this area and can't enjoy it. I think a lot of people have said things a lot more elegantly than I can, but I feel from the heart that this is a really nice place to live, and I think it's, you tell me what I'm missing, and I'll listen to you. But I don't get the impression that it's to our benefit. And it certainly hasn't been well publicized. If it was something like Barrett's Crossing, you'd put up billboards, you put it in the papers, you put it places where people could understand what's coming. But it's not. It seems to have been done surreptitiously, and it looks like you're already heading to approve this. And we've had nothing to say about it.
Yes. Okay. Sounds, that's good enough. Hi, I'm Patsy Willingham. I'm also city employee, retired city employee from City of Lancaster. And I saw the good and the bad of warehouses in that city. I'm not against warehouses. Warehouses, we need, as long as we are buying crap, we need warehouses. That's a given. But this is not a warehouse community. This is a residential community, senior citizen community. A lot of people moved here because this is a quiet neighborhood. I don't know if they have done a traffic impact study. I was in charge of traffic signals, that division. And I don't know if there was a traffic impact study done. These roads cannot handle the traffic as is. Imagine putting 3,000 to 4,000 trucks a day on these roads. It'll be like a buggy horse road, all crumbled up, and it'll be no asphalt but dirt. And it's not cheap. It costs about $100,000 a mile to put new asphalt. Can the city afford it? Has there any provision made in this permit process to improve the roads by the builder? Or is it the burden of the city? If it's a burden of the city, and if these things are not in place, if this is a burden of the city, guess what? City has no money. Because I worked for the city for 33 years. We operated on no budget. So I know the story. So where is the money going to come to maintain these streets? Leave alone the pollution, the noise. So I am for warehouses, but there's a right place for that. Not in a community where seniors are living. Hemet is known for seniors. I think the reason the city is doing this is because they know the seniors have no power, they are not going to stand up for it, they'll just lay down and take it. I think that's the real reason they're forcing it down our throat. If they went to another community, they'll be up in arms. So it's kind of not fair to do this to senior citizens. We came here for the quietness and peaceful life, not to be back in the rat race. So I think, I hope you guys have done the studies enough to know that this is not good. Yes, I know this brings money to the city through property tax and all kind of other stuff. Yes, that's a good thing. But maybe this can be put in an area where it's closer to the freeway, somewhere where there's no residents. Not on our lap, not our next door. So anyway, that's my song and dance.
Rodney Lucker?
Hello, my name's Rodney Luker. I'm not from the Del Webb community. In fact, I live on the other side of town. But I'm a member of the Hemet Model Masters. And are you aware of where the air park is? So that's 20 acres adjacent to this site. We've been flying there for 30 years. And if this warehouse goes in, I'm told we're not gonna be able to fly there. That's a speculation. Now, I only heard about this project a few days ago. So I came down here to try to find out about it, how tall it is, how close it'll be to us, and so on. But that's my primary concern. That's been there 30 years. We have 150 members. We host several events a year. We just had one last weekend. We have quite a few pilots come in from out of town. They stay in the hotels, they eat in the restaurants. So we're a pretty good going concern here in town. And I don't know what's gonna happen with model airplanes around this neighborhood if we lose that field, because it's the only one around with asphalt, and we actually were putting together a budget to repave it until we heard about this, so now it puts it on the back burner. But other than that, I agree with everything that's been said before me. My career's in construction. I built a few freeways and roads and so on, and I can tell you the roads in this town are not gonna take it. Now, my previous gentleman here said, $100,000 to pave? I was recently, a mile. I recently spoke with the City of Hemet Road Department because that's who we work with that property out there. Greg told me it's $1 million a mile to grind up and repave a street. So I don't know how many miles you guys got in the budget, but there's gonna be some damage done with all these trucks in town. Thank you.
Just one note, I'm stand corrected, yes, when I said 100,000, I'm sorry. It's $1 million for dual carriage, two-way, $1 million a mile, not 100,000, I'm sorry.
Have you approached the podium if you're gonna make a public comment?
Next one is from Al Lucia.
Yes, my name's Al Boucher. I moved here 17 years ago. My wife and I, Grace, were the first residents of the Del Mar community. We love that community with pride. It makes Hemet look very good. If you drive through that area and look at it, you know you're in a classy neighborhood. It's unthinkable to put warehouses near us. It really is unthinkable. I mean, you're here to make the city of Hemet a better, cleaner place to live. Warehouses is not the answer. Everything I've heard so far tonight, I support 100%. Thank you.
Grace Boucher?
Good evening, my name is Grace Boucher. I'm Al's better half. Okay. We've lived here 17 years. We worked very, very hard. We chose Hemet for our retirement and to spend the last years of our life relaxing. We have a beautiful community, swimming, pickleball, tennis courts, walking trails. Now with the pollution coming in, how do you think that's going to affect the senior citizens in our community? A lot of us have health problems, respiratory problems. Do you think this is going to add to it? You know what it's going to do? It's going to make our lives a lot shorter. Take that into consideration. I agree with everything that everybody has said. Thank you.
Kathy Farrer?
Good evening, and thank you for allotting some time for me to speak. I've lived in Solera Diamond Valley, Del Webb, for 6 years. And for the last 4, we've been inundated with dirt, dust, odors, and noise from land to our southwest due to farming and construction of a community next door. Things have calmed down, but what we have learned from that is the weather patterns in this valley come from the southwest right through our town, and we are covered with dirt and dust because of it. Putting in a construction of a warehouse at Simpson and Warren will permanently affect our community and our way of life. Recently, the state has passed Assembly Bill 98 to raise awareness of the detrimental effects of growth of warehouses as most critical environment justice issue in our time. The Inland Empire now has 1 billion square feet of warehouse space with 170 million approved at this point. The occupancy rate of these warehouses generate 600,000 truck trips per day, 1,000 pounds of diesel particulate matter per day, 100,000 pounds of nitrogen dioxide, which causes chronic lung disease and is harmful to vegetation, and 50 million pounds of CO2 per day. The diesel exhaust is responsible for 70% of the cancer risk from air pollution in the Inland Empire. This law that the state of California has just passed isn't effective until 2026, January. But knowing that it's coming isn't an idea for you to just move forward and put in things as fast as you can. Please consider us living here and our enjoyment of this community. The other concern is the Inland Empire warehouse market correction has had a notable increase in vacancy rates. It's 7.3% for this year, which is a 360 basis point compared to the previous year. It's the 9th consecutive quarterly increase in vacancy in this area. And that's all based upon the laws and the research done for the state of California laws. It's a beautiful city here. I've loved it. I've lived here for 6 years, as I said, and I've really enjoyed it. please look for other ways for our community to survive. Thank you.
And when?
Frank, can I make a suggestion that you call the next person and have them in the queue?
Lining up.
Yes, absolutely. Catherine will be next after Sharon.
Thank you, commissioners, for listening to us and giving us your time. I've spoken to the city council, I've written, I've signed petitions. We've all heard the same thing, our concerns. I know you have ad nauseum, as they say. What I just want, I found the announcement of this back in December. We're all wondering where it was posted. Could be that we should have been looking for something like this. None of us knew about it until recently. We're just kind of in a state of shock. And I too live in Del Webb, and we're flabbergasted. We also know that you are in these positions to help Hemet. We do know that. Basically what you're seeing though are the elderly people who have a lot to lose because of this, saying please reconsider. Please think of families coming in, bringing children. Search in your hearts. Would you want to do that? Take advantage of our coming together in just this short a time. Last I heard there were like 600 names on a petition against this. In a short amount of time, take advantage of what we can do as senior citizens and come up with some other options for Hemet, the Hemet that we're so proud of, so proud to live in. And a lot of us have come from bigger cities. We know what it's like. We are so thrilled to be here. And let us help you in some other way. Take our force, our voice, our time as retired people, and come up with something and reach out to us. I know there's got to be some other options than warehouses. Thank you.
Catherine Botts is next, and after that, will be Ray Johnson.
I'm Catherine Botts, and I am a resident of the Solera Del Webb community as well. But I also feel a strong obligation to represent the children that aren't here. Because the projects that we're talking about create, and it's statistically supported, a tremendous amount of air pollution. And our valley is a bit of a bowl almost, and that exacerbates any kind of an air pollution problem. We've had health issues throughout the years. I have been here since 1963. My husband and I have been very involved in the community. We raised our children here. We've loved it. There have been a lot of changes in the valley, and some of those have been hard to see and hard to know how to adjust to and where things could be solved. But it never once has occurred to me, and working in a lot of venues in this community, working in community service, that what we needed to do to solve our problems was to bring in some warehouses that would pollute the entire valley, create a horrible traffic problem, seriously affect the health of our children, and make the entire area look blighted. I have searched on the internet to find cities who have had the warehouses, and there's a lot of information about that. It's a very big issue. But I couldn't find one that said that allowing the warehouses into their community had created lasting positive change. Not one. The financial benefits don't seem to sit in the community itself, and those jobs often they're there when the warehouse opens. Lots of people are hired, it sounds great, and gradually positions are automated. AI is gonna have a tremendous effect on what happens in these warehouses. So, yes, I am definitely against the building of warehouses in this valley. And I'm especially concerned that there hasn't been more transparency about how this was gonna emerge. I think there's a lot of families living very close to us. We're not the only ones out there close to where this Newland Simpson project is gonna be. There's a lot of new family housing. And I don't think one of those families said, we're so excited, we're actually gonna be able to buy a home in Hemet, the prices are lower there, it'll be a good place to raise our children, we're gonna have a bad commute, but we'll deal with it, it's gonna be worth it. And we especially wanna be close to those great big warehouses and all of that pollution and truck noise and congestion. Appreciate your time.
My name is Ray Johnson. I live in Del Webb as well, but I wanted to approach it from the CEQA standpoint. According to my unofficial AI advisor, the EIR has not been approved yet, the final. That could be true or not, I don't know, you know. But my concern is that I've read over the draft EIR comments from the South Coast Air Quality Management Board. And it's, I got an 8-page summary, and every page has some kind of a caution on it about the Simpson project specifically. I understand there are 5 other projects, warehouse projects, but this is the one I'm most concerned about. We're talking about 450 trucks a day, 24 hours a day, according to this, according to the EIR. And the Air Quality Board said their concern was the study showed the average truck distance of travel would be 30 miles. But they conveniently left off of the EIR that most of those trucks, or many of those trucks, will be going and coming from Los Angeles and Long Beach harbors. So that adds another 90 to 100 miles of travel for each one of those, particularly the heavy-duty trucks, the 4-axle heavy-duty trucks. Another point they made was, and I'll just read what this, they're talking about the location of this site within the community. It says, the South Coast Air Quality Management Board is concerned about the potential public health impact of citing this near new sensitive populations within proximity of existing air pollution sources. Talking about right near this proposed development, there is more housing proposed all the way around this area, or at least on the east, north, and south sides of it. And so, that's one of the concerns they expressed. The other thing they expressed and recommended says they recommend that if you proceed with this, that you require new zero emissions or near zero emission trucks. for the road haul. And I think that, plus some of these other things in the air quality management board recommendations are probably enough to kill the project in itself, if you require the,
Oh, yeah, you got 30 seconds past.
I'm
Sorry about that.
finished, thank you.
Last request to speak from is from Katie Sisk.
Hi, thank you for hosting this. My family, the Searles, have been here for 4 generations. They're a family of farmers and teachers, and we are all just appalled by this hurting our family's legacy here. Kids are already getting sick from school buses, from the diesel exhaust, and Hemet would be like a pregnant woman smoking a cigar every day, with all of us being in the womb, and we'd have to move to escape. And I'm sure most of you have kids or grandkids, and I just don't think that's right for them. Just like it wouldn't be right for a pregnant woman. We're living in this area. And other cities nearby have good neighbor policies for warehouse plans and other large infrastructure projects. I think we should have those too. And I worked at a warehouse for a couple months, and it was the worst job I've ever had. I didn't see it benefit anyone. It was a means to an end. I don't believe it's a good use of space for our community. There's so many other options, and it's up to you to change courses, even if it's uncomfortable. Times are changing right now, and I hope you can turn the tides on this for our valley, as you do live here too. Thank you.
I don't have any further requests to speak forms, and I did not receive any e-comments.
No e-comments at all? Okay. With that, we're gonna go ahead and close the public comment period. And moving on to approval of minutes, agenda item number 5 is